Welcome back, everyone. If you're new to the channel, this is my 1978 MG Midget that we have put a 1.6 liter Miata engine into. Recently on the channel, we hit a crazy milestone. We actually got this thing running. Check this clip real quick. She's not perfect yet, but she is running. That was a huge milestone. Today, we're gonna be working on it. And in the Miata community, if you hop on some forums, there is a ton of controversy over this little guy here. And partly down there. And that is the idle air control valve. And today I'm gonna be removing it. If you hop on these forums, it's pretty split 50-50. Some people say, why remove something that doesn't need to be removed? And other people say, hey, my engine bay is gonna look clean. I'm gonna remove it. I don't need it. It's all good. Let me explain to you quickly what it does and why I'm removing it. Basically, in colder weather, this makes the idle higher on start so that the engine can warm up a little easier, and then it drops the idle down once it's warmed up. Now, everyone I've talked to has said that in warmer temperatures, this is completely useless. The engine's warm enough that this does nothing and it's completely useless. Other people say, why would you mess with that? It's a system that's in the car. The reason we're removing it today is pretty simple. Let me explain. Before I got this running, I had a vacuum leak issue. Part of it was, if you remember my old kind of intake that I had here, this was in here. Obviously that hole is not very calculated, and the old tube that came here into it, well, it just didn't really seal that well. As well as that, our PCV valve was broken, so we got that fixed. And besides that, everything else was good in terms of leaking, except for down here. Now, Gorilla Glue might be an awesome product, but it does not help my car go. What's happening right now is I have a bottle shoved in the end of a tube, and that air tube actually draws air in for that IACV system, and well, I need to plug it. So the easiest way is to just remove this system completely. I could plug it, but we're gonna make it just look a little bit nicer. All right, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. It involves rerouting some coolant lines. It involves taking this off and putting a blocking plate on it, and then it involves taking off part of the throttle body, and we're gonna have to make a plate to go on the bottom of that. So that's what you're here for. If you want to stick around and watch, that's awesome. Before we do that, hit a like, subscribe so you can watch the rest of this build. Now that the car is running, I am full steam ahead. I want to get this thing on the road ASAP, even if there's snow on the ground outside. See, there's so much snow you can't even see. All right, enough talking. Let's get to work. So now I have this hanging, it's detached, but obviously, like I said, we still have these lines going to it. There should be, hopefully, there should be coolant inside of these. So I'm going to unhook it. Hopefully the coolant doesn't go everywhere. But I do have a catch can down there because, well, I had a coolant leak problem. So it's now. All right, so now that we have the throttle body off, let's take a look at it, and I'll show you the part that we're going to be maybe removing. Again, I'm not 100% sure I'm doing this. We're just figuring out if it makes sense to do it. So this is where the air comes in. As you can see, this is the throttle body. It has our a little butterfly flap inside. And so this bottom part here is what I'm deciding if I need to take it off or not. From the diagrams that I've seen, there's an air channel inside that it goes into. And I need to make sure that that's not going to like bleed air, which, because I had to block this off before with that Gorilla Glue bottle, it makes me believe that it does go in somewhere. And so let's take a look at this. I thought the channel came in actually right here, but now that I'm seeing it, it doesn't seem to be there. Yeah, okay, so here it is. So it actually comes through here and comes in up behind. And so it is inside of the intake. So I'm not sure that we even need to take this part off, but I'm gonna block it off anyways. I just think it'll be cleaner. I'm not gonna need all of this, so it's gonna go. This is the part that we're just gonna put a plate right over. Air coolant, none of it we need, so we're just gonna block it all. I'm gonna make a little template for this, and then we'll get to it. So here is our first block off plate. So again, this is on the bottom of the throttle body. We just took a plate, cut it out. I did end up putting a gasket in there just because the air channels they didn't have a gasket around it, so I figured why not? But that is it. Is it the prettiest thing? Nope. But is it going to do the job? Absolutely. So let's put it back in. All right, it's a little bit later now. Went inside and had some dinner, and now we're back out here just finishing this up before it gets too late. We took this part off. The only part left is this guy here, and everything's detached from it. We literally just have to take it off. And we have this block off plate. Let me open it up. All right, we have this block off plate that I bought from a local guy here who is a Miata specialist. And we have a gasket, we have all the hardware for it, and so this should be pretty easy. We're just going to take these off. I think they look like they're about 8mm sockets, or we can use a star screwdriver and just take that off, pop that on, and we should be good. And then we're gonna try to start her up. I'm gonna try to do it for you guys in this video. Let's see if it'll work for us. All right, let's do it. If you're wondering, I am doing this to torque spec. Listen for that click. Click. Ah, perfect. I'm gonna hook everything back up. We'll take a look at how much cleaner it is, and we'll see if we can fire it up. All right, everything's buttoned up. Let's take a look and then let's see if we can start it. The first part that we removed used to sit down here. Now there's a ton more space. It's a lot more open, which honestly is nice to get my hand in here and do things with the alternator, the starters down there. There's a lot of things that extra space is actually really nice for. Second, this is what that block off plate looks like up here. Again, this is nice because now our whole fuel rail is exposed. And again, I can work on that. I can, take a look at the injectors, things like that much more easily. As well, we're not gonna have coolant leaking on them anymore, which is really nice. Our line we hooked up down there, so that's just rerouted. Maps plugged back in. Our throttle position sensor is plugged back in. Something else I changed, if you're just watching, is this used to have a tube that came out and tied into the intake. And it just draws extra vapors out of the valve cover. A lot of people just run a little filter, so I bought that one for 10 bucks off of Amazon. Hopefully it works all right. I mean, it looks pretty cool, so I would assume it would work. All right, I'm gonna put a block here just so that we don't have exhaust fumes banging off of our radiator. And then I think we're good to go. Give her a try. Now, Before we run this, I just want to note the IACV, the idle air control valve, it's made to help when starting in cold temperatures, and it is cold in this garage. So it might have a really rough time starting. Don't judge it, okay? She's doing her best. All right, here we go. Sorry, it was running on its own, but shield was slipping and didn't want it to hit the harmonic balancer. All right, that should be good there. Let's try again. Take two. All right, let's shut this so we don't disturb the neighbors anymore. Yo, I have to admit, that is the absolute best that it has ever run. Man, that is invigorating. The audio on this probably like muffled it like in the last clip just because it is super loud, but that's it. You know what, dude? That sounded great. And you know what? It wasn't running perfect before, and I think it's because I just had that Gorilla Glue bottle shoved in there. But honestly, man, this block-off plate, I got to give a shout out to my guy Eric who makes this part. I did half this work myself. I made one block-off plate, but honestly, this was awesome. I'm actually pumped. And it is freezing out here. The idle's high. I might try to adjust if there's an idle screw, but honestly, that felt awesome. So thank you guys for coming along for this ride. Hopefully you're still here because that right there was worth it to me. But I'm gonna go now. I'm freezing. I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's freezing out here. So I'm gonna go warm up. You guys, if you made it this far, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to just be you and enjoy the stuff that you do. This is something I love, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I'm on the street, ripping donuts, having a blast. So until then, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. God, I literally can't believe it. Ooh.